Bienvenue sur ma chaîne, welcome to my channel, and this was requested by Colin Hui, and I'm sure some of you can definitely benefit from this, especially if you take a visit to Taishan or you're just Taishanese and you don't know how to speak Hoisan la, or you are part Taishanese and you don't know how to speak, or you're not Taishanese at all and you're just really interested in this dying minority dialect. So let's start. So you walk in and say you're at a dim sum and the ladies are pushing the carts around and they're like, Ha gao siu mai, ha gao siu mai. Ha gao is, ha means shrimp, gao like the little dumplings, the little shrimp in the rice steamed dumplings. I used to love those before I went vegetarian. I know, Asian and Spanish and vegetarians, unheard of, but anyway. Siu mai is like the pork little dumplings with a little carrot on top. It's kind of cylindrical and they're in this yellow egg pastry. Those are probably the two most popular dim sum plates you can get. Anyway, when you are in a restaurant in Taishan or anywhere in China, you're giving the bowls. One is plate, one is bowl. Usually all the bowls are in the center with chopsticks, like whatever restaurant you go to. In China, the restaurants are just run, they are run so well, like everything's perfect. And usually the women are dressed so lovely and pretty and they're wearing like traditional Chinese dresses, and it's just like this restaurant culture over in China, especially in Taishan, is so cool. They like go over the top, even at like the most basic places. You go in there and you always have a kettle of boiling water, like hot water, because you disinfect everything in China before you eat it. So you pour the water into your plates, into your bowls, and you take the chopsticks, your faidu, and you swish them around in the hot water in the bowl, and you just wipe everything down, and that disinfects and kills all the germs. Then the first thing you usually order is cha, right? So yika oolong cha, you know, yika cha. Ngoi is kind of like a polite saying, like, oh, if you don't mind, excuse me, can we just get that? Yeah, so you're just like, ngoi niam cha, yika cha, like just for the table. Usually you order collectively. Yikoi or liangoi, you know, you want to do the number of dishes, right? So if you have 4 people or 5 people, say unga one. My staple food every day growing up was ungu jojingok, which is the shiitake mushrooms with strips of pork, and it's mixed with like soy sauce and oyster sauce and some sugar, some salt, and it's steamed all together and it's delicious. And that's what I grew up on. So you can be like yika ungu jojingok, yika bak choy, gailan, Chinese broccoli. Gailan is the actual Chinese broccoli, the really dark one. That's actually my favorite one because it has the little yellow flowers and it's so delicious. And I like that with oyster sauce on top. That's what I used to eat. When your tea is empty, you want to put the lid. Okay, so this is obviously the tea kettle. When your tea is empty at a Chinese restaurant, you don't bother like waving them down. They're so busy, so many people. I usually just go like this. This is the universal, I need more hot water for the tea. Some people will put it right upside down. I don't bother putting it upside down as long as you've placed the lid like on a Chinese teapot. It's easier. This English or Portuguese teapot is not made for this, but Chinese teapots are easy to do this. So you place the lid like this and you push it towards the edge of the table, or you don't have to, they'll see it. But normally you want to put it in view and then they'll know immediately to fill it up with water. Chinese tea is not like other types of tea. You only need a pinch, especially if, you know, for Chinese tea like oolong or anything. That's the universal way of telling the waitress or the waiter that you need more water. Never stick your chopsticks into your food. In our culture, it is so incredibly uncouth and rude. I don't care where you're from, you know this because you're watching this video. Don't ever stick your chopsticks and stick it in the rice like that. it's considered it's not just rude, it's considered a really bad omen, because when someone dies, like in our culture, you know, the incense, when we do baising, it's like pray, you stick the incense like that, it's kind of like you're resembling like death. It's just a morbid, it's just not a good thing to do. Also, never use your chopsticks for anything but food. It is so incredibly rude when people are like playing around with the chopsticks and they're like doing stupid things with them. Like, you need to step away from your bowl, or you just want to put your chopsticks down. Don't ever put them on the table, because that's really gross. The bowl, the top of the bowl, you just want to lay them across your bowl like that. It's not that hard. Lay them across the bowl. I realize, like, in Asian culture, there's a lot of different etiquette things that you know to do, know not to do, and I guess because I grew up with it, it just comes as nature to me. Also, you never want to finish all the food unless somebody insists that you do. You don't want to be that one person who just completely takes half the dish and then finishes it off. Like, take small portions at a time and ensure everyone is getting enough. And that's what everyone's very courteous in our culture, you know, trying to feed everyone, but never be that one person who just eats everything and then finishes off the plate. It is so incredibly rude in our culture. Like, you're just not supposed to, if you're a guest and you have a communal dish, you don't finish it off. Unless nobody's taking it, you can do that. Or if people say it's okay, you can do that. But there's just things that are just a little more implied, and you just have to be a little more considerate. What else? Rice. Okay, so when you're eating rice, a lot of people don't realize, you know, Westerns are like, how do you eat rice with a chopstick? Well, if it's glutinous or if it's sticky and it's that kind of texture, you can easily just eat with a chopstick. But most of the time, especially when you mix it with your home, with your soup, or you mix it, or if it's just very fluffy rice, and you scoop it into your mouth with the chopsticks from the edge of the bowl. And that's the way we eat. And you want to do it this way. You don't want to be like this. You just want to take your chopsticks and just gently and politely scoop it into your mouth from the edge of the bowl. So, yeah, like a glass of water. So, where are the toilets? Bathrooms. Ogi means hungry. Ni ogi ma, are you hungry? Moi ogi, I'm hungry. Ni bao ma, are you full? Moi bao lo, I'm full. Moi bao wak dai, I'm too full. Moi bao hli, I'm so fucking full. Bao hli is like I'm full to death. Like, I cannot eat anymore. I'm absolutely stuffed. Vau is like, take some more, or do you want some more? Huya, get some more. Mi hutlaya, take it all. You know, about dishes and things like that. Vahuma, do you want more? Do you want to take more? Hoya ma, is it delicious? Does it taste good? Hoya ya, it tastes good. Muhanga hoya ya, it's so good. Buchigi hoya, it's incredibly, amazingly good. Hoya ya, it doesn't taste good. Hamuak dai, it's too salty. La hlila, it's so spicy that it kills me. La'uak daya, it's too spicy. Latma, is it spicy? Nyetma, is it hot? Nyetlilo, it's burning me. It's like hot to death. And then you can decide who fights over the bill after, because it's probably going to take 20 minutes for everyone, especially the men of the family or your friends, to be fighting, especially when you're with Chinese men. They all want to pay, and it's normal for them to be almost on the table, screaming down the place because they want to pay. And you'll see the bill being almost ripped into shreds. Moi iya, moi xiang iya, ni mo iya, mo i. I is like, I'll give it, I'll give the money. Very polite and normal in our culture to insist on paying the bill, especially if you're a guy. And you just sit back and you don't offer to pay, or at least to chip in and to contribute some money towards the bill. You are regarded as a freeloader and a loser. It's not highly looked upon in our culture to not contribute at all. It's usually the men who either chip in or one of them wants to pay the entire bill, but you have to fight for it. And if you ask once, that's not good enough. You have to keep insisting until someone knocks someone over and forces it. that way. The women just sit back and watch. My grandmother would take part in it. My aunts will do that as well. I mean, it's not usually like where in our family the women will try and pay as well, but it's usually men who try and take care of it. The women will sometimes fight over it, but they never get to pay really. Maybe a few times for someone's birthday. The wife will insist, I don't know, but it's normally the men who pay. Women can fight over the bill too. Anyone can fight over it, you know. Join in, it's polite, you should do it. I don't do it because I'm considered the baby of the family. Even though I'm the first grandchild of my family, I'm still a kid to them, so I never am expected to pay for the bill. Always order more than enough food. It's unheard of for us to order just the amount of people that are sitting there. People end up getting double, as if everyone had 2 plates or 2 dishes, because in our culture we share all the dishes, big plates of food, and just all in the center of the table. It's nice. You get a bit of everything. You can Sanchar, I'm going. You can Sanchar. You boy个 Sanchar. Can I have a glass of iced tea? Our iced tea in Taishan is amazing. It's made from this special tea. I don't even know how to say it in English, but I just know it as Sanchar. And you serve it cold. So it's made hot because the tea leaves have to diffuse, and they're like big leaves. My grandmother gets a tin of it. It's so delicious, and only takes a little bit, like a pinch. And after it diffuses, then you stick it in the fridge overnight, and then in the morning you have cold, refreshing Sanchar, and it's really good for you, and you don't add sugar or anything. It's just refreshing, and it's not bitter or anything. It's just such a lovely taste, and it's so amazing, so amazing. I think if it was sold here, it would do really well, because, you know, a lot of Americans and Westerns really like foreign things, you know. That's something that I think a lot of foreigners would like, because it's not sweet. It's just really delicious and refreshing. Yi ga ha Chiang Fan. Ha Chiang Fan is that gorgeous, big, large, flat noodle. It usually comes in 3s, and usually there's shrimp in it, or you can just get it without. I'm vegetarian now, so I'd get it without, but it comes with a beautiful, gorgeous, sweet kind of soy sauce that's poured on top. It's like this very slippery white shrimp. Chiang Fan is like a long rice noodle, and it's one of my favorites. They always sell it they always have it at dim sum, but I just love Chiang Fan. It's so good. So you can have Chiang Fan, mgoi, or when you call someone over, mgoi liang nuya. In Taishan, everyone calls each other, like, I was called liang nui all the time. It's like miss, but it literally translates to pretty girl, so I don't mind. It was cool that everyone's calling me liang nui. But that's what you call like all the like young women, liang nuya. So yeah, that's what you call them. So if you want to call them over, mgoi liang nuya. You can order Feng Chiang was my life growing up on top of Ungujojingok. Feng Chiang, Cantonese call it lap chang. It's a Chinese sausage. It's very oily and fatty and sweet and salty and delicious. And it's usually you throw it in when you're cooking rice, and it just boils, and all of it is just cooked together. But I loved that growing up. I had that every single day nearly growing up. That's how you can order Feng Chiang from any restaurant. Literally, if you go to Taishan and you go to like any local small little restaurant, you can get like a whole plate of food for like the equivalent of like $1. Maybe it's changed since then. I haven't been there in like 10 years, but I'm sure it's not changed that much, because our money is obviously worth a lot more when you go over there, especially when you're in the village and in not like a non-touristy area like Taishan. It's just like not as formal when you're ordering over there. It's just like please and thank you. It's just like, can you give me this, and can you give me that? Like, you know, just 因为一个饭吗? Like, I guess you just order, you just ask them this and can I get that? 因为 is give me. So whatever dish you're going to order, you can just say 因为. It's usually like when you order, you're just naming the numbers of 一个凤肠ăn个饭一个五个蒸鹅一个炒面一个虾肠饭一个虾糕两个烧麦三个炒烧包 is barbecue bun. You can tell I loved dim sum. Antat is egg tart. But anyway, I'm going to end that here. The next video I'm going to do is customs and culture because that's quite an interesting one and it's something that I don't really give much thought to, but when you're explaining to a Western person of all these things that are okay and not okay in our culture, you realize like how much we grow up with, just all these things that we have to remember, things that are bad omens or superstitions or just cultural, socially acceptable things and socially unacceptable things within the Taishanese culture. So I will be talking about that next video. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry if I wasn't more thorough. It's been so long and ordering food, like I haven't eaten Taishanese food in so long, so it's kind of hard to remember, but I hope you got something from this video. And if you have any requests for more Taishanese videos, please do let me know what you would like me to cover, and I hope you all have a great night. Bye bye.